On the agenda tonight, we're going to be having a listen to Paolo Nutini, and he's going to be performing everywhere. Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So this one's going to be a little bit different tonight because the standard analysis videos we go through vocals and guitar and we break things down, whereas this request was to specifically look at the interaction between the crowd and Paolo during this performance. And it's something that we haven't really addressed on the channel, about performing live and playing in front of a crowd that might be a little bit difficult or have members in the crowd that are being difficult. So in all, this video is 9 minutes and 50 seconds in length, and there's going to be a link in the description below, as always, if you guys want to check it out independently. But we're just going to watch this through, and I'm just going to point out what I can see. I'll probably mention a few things about Paolo's voice and the guitar playing, all that kind of stuff, but we will focus in on just the feel of the performance as well.
I can appreciate it. Thank you. We have one more song. Thanks. I'll tell you what, if you listen to this song, I might do another fucking song. But it's a team, it's going to be teamwork.
And I'm just going to jump in here because already you can hear in the crowd that there are some segments of people, it doesn't sound like the majority, but just a few people making some booing noises or that kind of stuff. And you can tell that, you know, Paolo's trying to say, kind of work with me here. You know, this is just an artist just displaying his art for you guys to listen to. And I think that's going to actually become really important as we watch through this video, but we will continue.
This is another... Whoa! I've heard that somewhere before.
I think actually with the crowd, this reminds me of a wedding gig when a covers band are playing and everyone's had a bit to drink, they're all a bit crazy. But the point about having a covers band at a wedding is because they are there to do a job and they're just going to play the songs that you know and they get paid and they go home and then everybody's happy. But Paolo Nutini isn't somebody who is in a covers band and playing at a wedding. So straight away you get this awkward feeling that the setting isn't right, that the crowd are a little bit rowdy. The difference between playing in a covers band and being an original artist is that you don't really get a choice to be an original artist because you want to do that. You want to get your art out there. You want to write. You want to express yourself. You want to convey an emotion to the crowd. And when you're playing covers, that doesn't really matter because it wasn't your song. So you're just playing something that somebody else has written and other people obviously recognize it, so they love it as well. So they know it, they can dance along, they can sing along. But when you're just, especially performing a song that might be dear to you, close to your heart, something personal that you've written about, and you're trying to convey that to an audience and they're screaming and shouting and potentially booing, it's going to be really difficult for you, I mean, artistically, and for or even to keep your integrity as an artist. You think, well, this isn't what I'm in it for. Either you want to hear what I've got to say, or I'll go somewhere else. And you start to get this kind of vibe from the crowd. It's kind of been maybe, promoted as the wrong thing, but let's continue.
This is another new song, and it's a bit of a slower song. So please, if you have it, I'll appreciate it. It's called Everywhere, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you again.
And it's really interesting that I think Paolo just looked to the side of the stage, probably to his, tech or someone to do with the stage crew, and I think he said unbelievable, because he's taking a long time here to he's kind of playing his E chord, and he's kind of playing around with it, occasionally hammering on. He's looking at tuning his guitar, but you can tell that his mind isn't where it should be because of all the noise, all the shouting, people not really paying attention. And he actually starts, I think, he starts the song and then stops because it's so off-putting, all of the noise going on, but he will get into it.
Sorry. Under my skin I can feel you creeping in, I can feel you slowing down and moving around. You held my body in your control, and my body is breaking down, but my body.
And you can really tell that Paolo's not really into this at all, just because of the look on his face. Like, how do you play a song that, especially like this, is a slower tempo? It's obviously got some meaning in there. It's a very personal song, and people aren't listening to it. And even the bassist there just turned around to look at the drummer as if to say, this is unbelievable, that people aren't actually listening to the music going on here. And I don't know where this was, what the event was, but it might even have been... Sometimes award shows are like this, where people are there to, potentially pick up awards for different things. It might even be, acting, TV, soap awards, all that kind of stuff, or dramas. And they get a band on to play. And I know because, I've been to a few events where this has happened, and they have a band that comes on. And I remember at one event, this band came on and they were great, but the whole venue was just full of tables and people sitting down. So there was no real energy in there, even though the band were great and had energy. Obviously, I got up and got into it, and there were maybe 3 or 4 people who were like me that were there to kind of enjoy the music and get into it. But it's a totally different dynamic playing to a crowd of people who are sitting down by tables and aren't really there for the music, than kind of playing to your own crowd and people that are genuinely there because they love you as an artist. It's great that Paolo's just trying to push through this.
Is coming round to its senses.
Okay, so that isn't where the song ends. That's kind of just having enough. And at this point, I think a lot of artists would probably be well within their rights to think, look, it's not working. We'll just go somewhere else, just wait for the next gig. But Paolo, is just gathering his thoughts, probably thinking about what he's going to do. But he does come back.
Oh, f*** it, I'm going to try it again. Here we go. skin I can feel. Creeping in I can feel. Slowing down and moving around.
And I love the fact that he just says, I'm going to give it another go, and just kind of pushes through it. And this is where every artist is different, and how artists react to, you know, the crowd not paying attention, maybe being a bit boisterous as well. It does depend on sometimes the genre of music, because here we are really understated. It's, you know, at that low dynamic level, it's a ballad. It's really quiet, really folky. So it means that ideally you need the crowd to be quiet so that they can listen to the lyrical content of the song. This isn't one of those songs where you're just thrashing out chords and belting out vocals, where it isn't, you know, potentially as important to hear the lyrical content because of the energy in the song. Whereas this is all about the song, the connection. You might get people who are paying money to come and see one of your shows purely to try and, you know, make a fuss and kick up a stink because they are jealous of where you are, because they want to be there. So that can be the problem sometimes with being in the mainstream industry. And how you deal with that on stage, again, about genres. I know that the kind of music that I play, being hard rock and, you know, being heavier, having distortion on the guitars, all that kind of stuff, maybe moving around the stage a lot more, you have energy there naturally. And when you're talking about heavier genres like metal and heavy metal, you know, you'll always get some kind of interaction in the crowd that could even be mosh pits. So people are bumping into each other, really getting into the performance. And that's a great thing, because they are doing that because they're into the performance. So, you know, they haven't just decided to have a fight in the crowd, which is sometimes what it looks like, but it's a positive form of crowd interaction, whereas this is definitely a negative form. There are obviously fans in this venue, but a lot of people are kind of ignoring it and not appreciating the art. And this is the other thing, that it's a shame that for some people, the art just goes over their head and they don't really understand what they're missing. So I've just made sure that you guys can see my guitar now. We're going into this E, and we've got this really understated way of playing with the thumb. And because we're playing with the thumb, it means it's going to sound softer. You know, we have that little hammer on with the first finger as well, rather than kind of having potentially, you know, a little bit too involved like that. So we've got this E going into our F sharp minor and over to our B7 shape. Again, same approach with all of that rhythm. You know, just keep it really understated. That's what we've got here, because it leaves you somewhere to go. And that's exactly what's going to happen throughout this performance when the rest of the band start getting involved.
Now I believe you. That's alright, just how close. Walk beside your lonely water. Screaming Moses, that's alright. And I love you like a song, yes I love you. And without you I won't. As you dream your dream tonight, let tomorrow look me right in the eye. Oh, now I need somebody
I'm just going to jump in here because Paolo's got this quality to his voice where as he ascends, he kind of leans into this rasp, and it seems like he's not really pushing his chest voice up there. It's more of a mixed voice kind of sound because of the ease. I mean, it doesn't sound like he's kind of going to hit his ceiling anywhere here, which tends to be the case when you are belting in chest voice. You'll get up to a particular point and then you can't go any higher. But we've got this really cool sound, and the rasp on there as well really thickens up the tone. I've just got the piano up on screen so you guys have a reference point, because I think we have, you know, some A4s in there as we go down, B4 as well, maybe even that C sharp. So just, you know, crazy range going on, but like I said, it's all blending together. You don't really get any indication of where Paolo's voice is because it's so consistent the whole way through. Even when he's in his lower register, it sounds like he could add a little bit of rasp if he wanted to. And they're actually a great example of the B4 up to the C sharp 5. If we go over to the piano, let me just point out, because that C sharp 5, we're talking about male tenor, high C, which is here. We're a semitone higher than that. So right at the top of the male tenor range is our A4, which is there. We are a tone higher and then a tone higher again. So great range on show here, especially when you start taking into consideration that in the verse we're going to be the octave lower. So yeah, just vocally amazing. Paolo isn't really feeling this performance, but he's still performing at this kind of level. And then we get into the lead guitar solo, and just listen to the progression of the track, the way that we start out just with Paolo on his guitar, and then you have the bass that comes in, then we have the keys that come in, and now we're starting to open up dynamically. So we've now got this it sounds like quite a distorted guitar sound and quite a high gain sound to it. You know, it's really piercing, but let's have a listen. And I mean, with this sound, we've kind of got, and you know, the mix here is really lead guitar heavy, so it's right out front. It really is above everything. But we've got this, you know, all around this kind of area. You know, if you're playing in E, because we're going to be starting there, but when we have this, that is the change to the F sharp minor, you know, over to an A, that down to the E. So really nice collection of chords here. I just got rid of the other side of the screen, which is something that I always forget to do. But yes, having this approach of playing in that E, you know, all of that, you know, which is what I was just referring to, into that A, down to you can start throwing all of those fills, and that's the great thing about just kind of knowing the chord shapes, knowing where you are on your fretboard. Okay, so we actually had, yeah, a little run here. Kind of like that. And little slide down. So, I mean, we're staying very major here. So it means that all of your notes here, or you know, you want to just keep this all in your major pentatonic shape, but we're in the extended shape. So it means that you have to work your way up. Kind of like that. But yeah, really major, really high up the fretboard here. So you have to try and squeeze those fingers in. So now we've kind of, again, worked our way down to that shape 1, so a little bit more kind of bulky with the sound. And now we've got that kind of thing going on as well.
Thank you very much, everybody, especially those who listen. Thank you.
And there we have it. So, you know, Paolo singing all the way to the end, and, you know, being really professional, just doing the song, saying thank you to those that listened. But unfortunately, this is just something that can happen, and you can't account for the audience that you're going to be playing in front of. It's just really how you deal with it as a musician. I think that's the most important thing, that you can't allow this to put you off and, you know, sidetrack you with your own music and your own artistic expression, because there really is no good and bad. When you're talking about music that you're making yourself, you might feel that, oh, I did a bad performance of that song, or it wasn't as good as I could have done it. But when you're talking about people potentially not being interested or shouting or booing, if they don't like it, that's not your problem, because that's your music, that's your art. And you're never going to be able to please everyone. That's impossible. So just go out there, play your music to the best of your ability to put across your artistic expression and get across your songs the way that you want to put them across. But if some people aren't into it, don't worry, because it just means that's not your crowd. There will be people that are into what you're doing. The most important thing that you can do is, put it across as accurately as you can. So, say for example, you can't play the guitar very well, you haven't yet got your chords down, you can't sing, you're not hitting pitches. You've got to get that down first so that the melodies that you're coming up with, the chords that you're playing, are at the level where the general public can understand it. They need it to be at a particular level. And this is why people won't connect to music that's really amateurish or sounding like it's a beginner, because they can't engage with that. They can't process that with their minds. It's got to be at a level where they can hear chords and they can hear a melody in relation to the chords. If you get to that point, then it's your artistic expression. It's down to you. It's a great example that it can happen and does happen to anyone. But thank you guys for requesting this video for me to take a look at. As always, keep those suggestions and requests coming in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think. And if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys at the next one. Rock!